Hi students, Miss Davidson here. Just want to make a quick video for you to show you about the work this week. Specifically the small group discussion, asynchronous assignment number 3. You will have scrolled to week 2 on the classwork tab. You will have already looked at your agenda, the weekly checklist. You will have done the ed puzzle for your first asynchronous assignment. The second asynchronous assignment was your sizing up people Google document where you rated the different statements. Um, and then your first part of asynchronous assignment number 3, part A, was watching this video that you're watching right now. So congratulations, you'll be finishing that part and you can check that off your checklist after you finish watching the video. Watching this video should help you understand the next 2 steps. Well, technically 3. So you will see async number 3B. I have a few of them because I have a few small groups set up, but you'll only see one. You will click in. So go ahead and click in. You will see the question and some instructions. So this is due on Friday. This is your small group discussion, and the question that you're going to be answering in the small group discussing is, what are some of the most common reasons that a person gets rejected, made fun of, and or humiliated by their peers? Also thinking about, why are so many people so quick to disassociate themselves from people who look or act different? So, what you're going to do is you're going to think about the ed puzzle that you watched, about that sizing up people activity, and you're going to think about these 2 questions I just asked you and reply to both parts of these questions in 3 to 4 sentences for your initial post. So, 3 to 4 sentences. What are your thoughts about these questions that I just asked you above? Um, and after you do that, everyone will do their initial post in your small group. You will read your peers' posts and you will thoughtfully respond to one peer. So, anytime we do a small group discussion, you're going to have to reply to your peers, and it might be a different amount each time, but this is for this time. I'm just asking you to reply to one peer. I want you to do this very thoughtfully. So you might comment on their thoughts by relating back to your own thoughts. I saw that you said this and I said something similar and I thought this as well because, or you might agree with them in that way, or you might disagree. Maybe they said something that you don't agree with and you can explain why. You can respectfully disagree and explain your own thinking and how it differs. So I also said, don't be afraid to ask questions and reply back more than once if the conversation is calling for further responses. So if someone asks you a question, for example, you would want to answer, just as you would want your answer responded back to by your peer. So don't be afraid to get into a deep discussion here. I really want to avoid just, I like what you said, that kind of thing. Let's take it a step further. So, once you do this 2-in-1 initial post and reply to your peer in this part B, you're going to go back to the classwork tab, back to week 2. After you've checked it off your checklist, of course, because you finished this step, you're going to go down to async number 3C, your final step, which leads you to a Jamboard here. Okay, so we're coming up on this Jamboard. I'm reminding you that on Google Classroom in your small groups, what you just did, you wrote your initial thoughts and you responded to your peers about these questions. And I restated the questions right up there. Now, I'm asking you to take a sticky note on this Jamboard and use at least one of the following sentence starters that I'm giving you to share out what you talked about in your small group. So, something you might say is, something Jonathan said was that he thinks blah, 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 and I agreed with him because blah, 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 blah. That's just one example. You might say, when Jonathan said this, it made me think of this. It made me think of a time where I felt humiliated, and I think people did that because blah, 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 blah. So those are just some examples. I just want to hear about the discussions that you had in your group and any further thoughts that you have on these topics. So notice that there's 3 pages as well. They're all the same. So if you run out of room, because the whole class is going to be posting on this Jamboard, then just go ahead and go to the next page or see if maybe the page before had some room. So that is your task for the small group discussion this week. That was your third asynchronous assignment, the small group discussion. Um, and then once you do that, don't forget to meet me synchronously at Friday. We're going to do some fun stuff when we meet up together, and we'll talk about some of the asynchronous work that you did. As always, if you have any questions during the week about any of this asynchronous work or anything else, you can email me. You can ask your peers. They may know the answer to some of your questions. So I really look forward to seeing the discussions that you have in your small group and getting to see you face to face virtually on Friday. All right. Have a great week. Bye for now.